All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64. Let me try to fix something here. There we go. All right, here we are. It is, what is it? Oh, it's September the 1st, 7-1. Sept means seven, and it's 7-1. And remember on 7-1, July 1st, 7-1, that's when they sacrificed that red heifer. And that's when God basically threw a planet at us for it. We have Three Eye Atlas coming in at the same time. I'm going to do a quick video. I don't think it'll last that long. I have a live to do tonight on Departure Heaven. And I just want to get a few things out before the video, because when there's a lot of people in there, it's hard. It's not my show. So I can, interject what the topic of the show is while it's happening. Now, I have changed the USB port of where this plugs in, so hopefully it stops cutting out. But I also get a tone in my ear, letting me know when it cuts out. So I'll just turn it right back on if it cuts out. I've learned that, and so here's what I want to say. September to the 23rd, 24th, they are calling Feast of Trumpets. It is mathematically impossible. Feast of Trumpets is on September the 14th at sunset, becoming September the 15th. On September the 14th at sunset, becoming September the 15th, it is exactly 6,028 years from creation. As of September the 24th at sunset, going into September the 15th, in Israel, in 2032, it will be exactly 6,035 years. The 35 years we found out is the time that Jesus spent here. Satan would complain that God himself was here, even though he didn't know, because had he known, he wouldn't have pushed the people to crucify him. He had no concept of what Jesus was doing. All he was trying to do was get him off of this planet. And that's what Satan does. Whenever you are interfering in his plans, he begins to take you out. God only allows so much, so therefore some of us go through quite a bit before Satan does what he's going to do, in my opinion. Some of us are very well protected. Some of us go through quite a bit of stuff. And just remember, like me with my surgery, that I almost died in 2018. I did not have a near-death experience. I just almost died. It was a vulvarus that about was just minutes away from popping, according to the doctor. Had they not gone in when they had, I would have died that night. So, but I'm very thankful for it. God slowed me down, and I went back into doing what I had done for many, many years before, and that was to try to figure out the correct timeline, which I feel like I have. Based on that, listen, when somebody tells you that the Essene calendar said 2025 is the last year, no, it didn't. It did not. The concept of BC and AD came out in 525 from a Catholic monk, and he boogered it up so badly. And because of what he did, now we have to start creation at 4004 BC instead of 4000. And it shows Jesus being born now in 3 BC instead of 0, which there is no 0. It would have continued on. That would have been the year 4000. And then 2,000 years after that, plus the 35, again, 33 and a half years for Jesus, 1 year of the ark. And that in and of itself is presenting itself to be very important, that it's 1 year and 10 days. We always ask, what's the extra 10 days for? When we how do I word this? The rapture is not only for the bride. The rapture is also for the tribulation saint. In my opinion, it's not called a rapture. A rapture is being snatched out of imminent danger. They are going to die, and they're going to appear in heaven. When will they be reunited with their bodies? I'm not sure. There is a passage somebody sent me in Ezekiel, which I'll show you towards the end of the video. So that being said, and again, I'm not saying, don't put words into my mouth. I am not saying that if you're seeing September the 23rd or 24th, that you are a tribulation saint. Not saying that. God might be revealing the very end of everything for everyone that's going to go into heaven to many people. When people run a race, the first three people win the gold, the silver, and the bronze. But the race continues. There's a lot more people in that race. It's not kind to go home before the weakest that decided to join that race finish the race. A lot of people will, but many people will wait because at least that person that ran the race attempted to finish the race, and there should be supporters there of that person that decided to run the race in the first place. So a lot of what we're seeing, and again, not saying they are tribulation saints, but what we're seeing is, I believe, based on everything that I've studied on the timeline, is we're seeing the bride go, and 10 days later, the tribulation saints go. I think the bride goes on the Feast of Trumpets on September the 15th. I think the tribulation saints go on what they're calling the Feast of Trumpets on September the 24th at sunset. All that being said, the rapture, everyone going to heaven, whether it be by rapture or by gathering. First Thessalonians is a rapture, Second Thessalonians is a gathering. It says it right there. That word that they chose to use, gathering, has nothing to do with a rapture in Second Thessalonians. They, the tribulation saints, will see this great falling away or this rapture or this event take place, just like Elijah and Elisha, if you see me go. But they will also see the antichrist be revealed. And as I have been studying, it turns out, I found out that more than just the bride will rise, and the antichrist will rise as well. He's dead. It's Judas Iscariot. That's why nobody can figure it out. People are assigning this person and that person, Macron, Trump, all these people. They're all wrong. Secret broadcast Cape Bug. They're all wrong. The antichrist is Judas Iscariot. He is the son of perdition. He was called that back then, and he is called that again in Revelation. And he cannot come to power until he rises. And I think he's going to rise on September the 14th at sunset. Now, none of this is thus saith the Lord. I have not been as fortunate as Joshua, who had a direct visit from God Almighty, Jesus Christ in the flesh, in 2018 to tell me the date of the rapture. God bless Joshua. I mean, wow, that's absolutely incredible that happened for him. I would not give up the journey I've been on for the last 7 years and this timeline and everything that I've discovered over the last 7 years and all of the symmetry and all of the perfect math that I've come across over the last 7 years for just a date given to me in 2008. I wouldn't trade it for the world. What my piece of the puzzle has been, but that is pretty compelling that that happened for him. And I'm wondering if what he is seeing is the last part, is the tribulation saints, right? Going home 10 days later. We see in the Revelation where in one of the letters to one of the seven churches that it says you will be put in jail for 10 days. Now, the tribulation is not for those that go to heaven. Once all of those that are going to go to heaven in a pre-tribulational rapture will be there to witness the seals. Once all those appear in heaven, and then in seal 6, which again, I think they open very quickly. I think Those seals open up relatively quick. I keep seeing people, and nothing against them. I have nothing against them, but I keep seeing. And we're back. I don't know why it's turning itself off. We keep seeing people, and I lost my train of thought, which is awesome. Hmm. At any rate, um, I keep seeing people that are talking about the seals being opened over the course of the 7 years. And I mean, come on, this seventh seal is the seven trumpets. They're trying to make the trumpets. I'm trying to make the seals open up relatively quick. They're trying to make trumpets and bowls open up at the very end of the 7 years. No, six of one, half a dozen of the other. We know the bride goes home before any seals are open. We're there to witness the first seal being opened. We know that this gathering that's going to happen that we see in Second Thessalonians, that the tribulation saints are going to be there by seal 6. We also know that the 7-year tribulation is for the Jew. It is not for the church. The people that go home in seal 6 are the church. They complete the body. They are the church. So, with all that being said, to me, it's common sense that the six seals, or the sixth seal, must be opened relatively quick. The seventh seal kicks off the trumpets. Now, they've been trying to place the seals, the trumpets, and the bowls at different points throughout. I'm trying to place the seals right up front because I don't believe that any of us that are going to go to heaven will be here during the 7 years, because those 7 years are for the Jews. It is going to decimate this planet, but the Jews will be supernaturally protected during the first 3.5 years. And then Satan's going to go in and proclaim himself to be God. And those Jews have to get out and go to Petra to hide themselves for the last 3.5 years. The Jews, now be careful with the way I word this. Anyone who has professed that Jesus Christ is God Almighty and that he rose on the third day and paid the penalty for your sins and mine, apart from anything else, anybody who's able to make that claim will go to heaven in this rapture. Everyone else is going to take their filthy rags, their works, their baptisms, their walking old ladies across the street, their money donations, their stop cursing, stop doing drugs, stop cheating, stop doing all these other things. They're going to take that right into the tribulation with them. In the tribulation, once they see the tribulation, this is where it gets sticky. Many of them will be so upset, they will say that the rapture didn't just happen. I'm not there, so it didn't just happen. Therefore, or they'll say it did happen, and that's it. It's over. Let's give up and follow the antichrist. We have to be careful with that. The tribulation saints are the rest of the body. They are the rest of us, and we will be there waiting for them with palm branches. We'll be looking forward to them. They are your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. They are best friends. They're everybody you know who listen to you but kind of shrug it off, like Elisha did when he went from town to town. Don't you know that today your master will be taken away? Yeah, whatever. Hold your peace. He didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear it because he didn't believe that the rapture was pre-trib. And again, by no belief in when the rapture is, or when the seals hit and the trumpets hit and what timeline and what day it is, none of that determines whether or not you're going to be included in this rapture. If you know and understand that by the blood of Christ alone, if you said, it is the blood of Christ alone, but the Bible does say that I have to obey the law, because if I don't obey the law, that means I don't love Jesus. I have to go get baptized. You've added works. You've added that little tiny bit of leaven into this scenario of salvation. That's why the road is so narrow. That's why so few will be raptured in a pre-tribulational rapture. The rest of them, I pray, and this is where This is where I get nervous for these people, that they don't go into the tribulation and give up. Do what Elisha did. When you see the rapture occur, recognize that your baptism, your good works, all the stuff you did, oh, you stopped cursing, good for you. 613 laws, which ones did you choose to obey? I don't eat pork. It's one of the 613 laws. I didn't find the Sabbath, but I do it on the Gregorian Sabbath. You didn't find the Sabbath. Jesus is the Sabbath, by the way. He's the one that you're supposed to find. You're not supposed to find a day and stop working on that day. You're supposed to find Jesus and stop working towards your salvation. That was the exact point of finding the Sabbath and keeping it holy. It had nothing to do with a day. So, with all that being said, and again, I don't care if you believe in this time. I don't care if you believe in this timeline or not. It doesn't affect anything to do with your salvation. But this timeline is going to become very important after the rapture, because there's going to be a whole group of people who are going to be looking forward to going home. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. It does not matter if you are Jew or Gentile. If you have accepted Christ, you are a completely new creature. You are not counted a Jew once you've accepted Christ. You're not counted a Gentile once you've accepted Christ. You've become a new creature in the Lord. You are brand new. So we are, in essence, Jew and Gentile, the same as we go to heaven. Most Jews will not accept Christ, which baffles my mind, but that's what's going on. Jesus was a Jew. The Jews brought us the gospel. The Jews wrote the Bible. Anything less than that is a confusion. So the Jews not believing is seriously a confusion. They brought it to us. We ran with it, but they brought it to us. So after the rapture occurs, there will be a great multitude that will recognize, one, that their works meant nothing, and that they will kneel down and tear off the world and put on the cloak of Jesus and Jesus alone. There'll be another group that heard you say, if you see me go. They don't believe in anything, but they are going to see this rapture occur. They're going to see some crazy stuff going down after the rapture occurs, stuff they can't explain. They will have heard you say, if you see me go. And they too will believe. People that never had any belief or any faith whatsoever prior to the rapture occurring. So, let me go through the pictures real quick here. Let me remember to share my screen. Let's move my picture up out of the way. And let's go to the pictures. The rapture, I remember another point that I was going to make. I believe the rapture must happen in a Jubilee year. That being said, the tribulation saints cannot go home in 3.5 years. It will not be a Jubilee year. The tribulation saints will be gathered and brought to heaven. They are very important people. That is a very important part of what is about to happen. It happens in two parts. Somebody sent me an email showing me, or was it? It might have been Strength Ministries that read it, actually. It was Strength Ministries that read it. Love his channel. He's doing great work. So this being said, that a rapture or gathering to heaven, once the gathering is over, the tribulation saints are there. Seal 6 has been opened just prior to Seal 7, showing all 7 trumpets. Once they are there, the door is shut. Nobody else is going to heaven. This is why people are trying to stretch out Seal 6 for the next 7 years. But the 7-year tribulation is not for the church. The tribulation saints are a part of the church. They are the enlisted man. The bride is the officers. There's nothing wrong with being enlisted. They will also go. The Bible talks about officers and enlisted throughout the entire Bible. That's not a new concept. The way our military is set up is biblical. And that's why it's set up that way. The year is 6,000 when we count it because of this monk who set up year zero, 6,028 because of this 0 year right here. It is actually the year. It is actually the year 6,027. It is the 123rd Jubilee of 49 years. Let me zoom in a little bit here. 123rd Jubilee of 49 years. I get it. People are like, it has to be 6,000 years, so we'll just start deducting time from creation. They've known for over 2,000 years that creation happened in 4004, beginning in 4004, ending in 4003. The year changed over on September the 15th on the Feast of Trumpets. That's why the day before Adam was created, the birds and the fish were created on the Feast of Trumpets, right there. When you count directly forward, you land here in the year 6,027, 6,028, if you're counting that 0 year. That's why we have so many issues. But I can assure you that 2025, actually 2024, is the Jubilee year. It cannot go into 2026. Mathematically, it cannot go into 2026. The trumpets were blown, just like the Bible says, on September the 24th in the year 2024, with the 7-year anniversary of the Revelation 12 sign, heralding in the 50th year Jubilee, which began on March 17th. If you want to not say, oh, it wasn't March 17th, it was the equinox, fine, March 21st or 20th. If you want to say it's the sliver moon, fine, we'll go on out to March 30th because that's when it was. If it's the full moon, you can just keep going. But this date that I give you is the first date that anyone could possibly use on a calendar. The equal lux is the first date that comes up. Now, I am not saying thus saith the Lord at all. I'm not saying that. But this count here is mathematical. It can't be changed. This is 2025 from what we understand 2025 to be. Again, I told you that Catholic monk back in 525 AD, you can look it up, created BC and AD. And when he did, he boogered the whole thing up. He did not overlap BC and AD at all. He made them sequential. So therefore, we wind up with this extra year because of this right here. And then when he counted back, he made a 3-year mistake. It wasn't 4003 BC. And when he made that mistake, it showed Jesus being born in 3 BC. Where's it at? 3 BC. Right here, September 30th of 3 BC on the Feast of Tabernacles. And like I've showed you, the 33 and a half years Jesus was here, Satan would complain. The year and 10 days that, it's up here. Noah was on the ark right there. And then the 6 months we find in Exodus 12 where God moved the head of the year. Rosh Hashanah, when you say Rosh Hashanah, you are speaking Hebrew, and it simply means head of the year. And when you read in the Bible, it says that trumpets is blown on the 7th month and first day. It does not talk about Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah was moved to the head of the year with what I say, March 17th. Now, let me keep going here. Some things that are coming up. The first day of creation is coming up. I think that's the next event that I have coming up. However, I think there might be, and I don't know, like this is the thing. This is the day that everybody's saying, this is the trumpets. It's really not. It's the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. It's not the Day of Trumpets. Mathematically, it can't be because if this is, I want you to count back 6 months, exactly 6 months, and look at the date and tell me, those people that follow the sliver moon, what date that is. Then Google when is Passover. You will not. It will be off by, I think, 5 or 6 days. Why? Because the sliver moon just doesn't work. It can't work. Mathematically, it can't work. So you can do that on your own. Let's say this is trumpets. Just say it. This is trumpets. That'll be off by 10 days, actually. Say this is trumpets, then count back 6 months. And if it doesn't match on the Hebrew calendar, if it doesn't match to Passover, you have a bad timeline. You just have a bad timeline. It doesn't work. This is the Day of Atonement. This is the day, September the 24th at sunset, that I believe that the tribulation saints will be home. The sixth seal will be open relatively quick through what? A big part of me thinks that the rapture might occur even as early as the first day of creation at sunset on September the 10th. A big part of me thinks that that might occur then. And then we have 6 seals. What do we wind up with on the 6th day? We wind up with Adam being created on the 6th day, the 6th seal. We see all of the tribulation saints, all of mankind. The very last one that's going to go to heaven will be done on the 6th seal. So part of me thinks that this might be September the 11th, might be the day, the very first day of the rapture. And then 6 seals later, on the 6th day of creation, we will, on the day Adam, actually at sunset right here, on trumpets, we will see all mankind in heaven. And again, I got to reiterate this. No one else is going to heaven aside from who we see in Revelation 20, and that is the 144,000 virgin Jewish males. Secret broadcast cave mosquito is biting me. So a high watch day for me is September the 11th. How do I word this? What is different about this particular watch time than any time we've seen over the last 7 years? What's different about it? The difference is, I believe, that every date we've ever given you has passed. But what a journey it's been. We have learned so much. Crossing that raging river, stone to stone, not being able to see the other side, dreaming about getting to the other side until you make that final jump and you're suddenly on the other side and you thought you were leaping to yet another stone. The one difference that could happen here is that God is revealing when the door is being shut in seal 6, when the last person will appear. God's viewing this entire door. He calls it the door. When he's viewing the entire door as open and closed. The bride goes first. The tribulation saints go 10 days later. Once that door is shut, nobody else is coming to heaven, aside from, again, like I said, the 144,000 virgin Jewish males that we read about in Revelation 20. So after that, it's all about the Jew. Yeah, there's going to be Gentiles down here trotting under the temple. They're going to be everywhere still. We know that 4 billion of the 8 billion will die, and part of those are going to be the tribulation saints. Now, people are telling me it's not fair that the people who have died prior to the rapture get a second chance. They had their chance. They lived their life. They don't get a second chance to see Jesus and accept him. And I say that's the only chance that you get. I say that nobody's gone to heaven except they saw Jesus, physically saw him. For the first 4,000 years, Jesus goes to Hades. He brings a witness with him, the thief on the cross. When he's in Hades, him and his witness say, whom will you follow this day? To who will you follow right now? Make your choice right now. Me and the story I've just given you. Yeah, you didn't see it, but the story I've just given you and my witness just gave you, or you want to stay here. And when he rose, many, many bodies of the saints rose with him. Yes, they all died again. There is only one that has gone to heaven, who had died, rose again, and ascended to heaven. There is only one, and that's Jesus. Nobody else has ascended into heaven who had died. We know Enoch ascended there. We know that Elijah ascended there. We know John, and I think Paul also in spirit went there. But we both know that they died here on earth. There is only one that went to heaven who had died, rose from the dead, and ascended into heaven in the sight of everybody. There is no story where Jesus ascended and all of these other people for the first 4,000 years ascended with him. None. So, that's not annoying. I have no idea why it's shutting itself off. I really don't know. It's fully charged. Anyway, yes, all of these are sunset times. September the 10th at sunset is when creation began on Elul 28. They are going to try to combine the Enoch timeline, the Dead Sea Scrolls with the Gregorian, with the Hebrew. They're going to try to say that Enoch said, or the Dead Sea Scrolls said, that Elul 28 is the last day of the month, but that's not true. I've read it myself. The Enoch clearly says that each month has 30, 30, and then 31. Each 3 months or each season has 91 days. The 91st day is a kaseh. It is a hidden day, which leads me to Elul 31. It is a kaseh. It is a hidden day. It's a day that is counted because it exists. The sun comes up and goes down, but it is a day that's a hidden day. Makes me wonder that if the rapture would not happen here at some point on Elul 31 on September the 14th, all day long until sunset, which becomes the Feast of Trumpets. So every single day of creation for me is a high watch day. But this is the most compelling, is sunset on the 14th becoming the 15th, because it is at sunset on the 14th, sunset on the 24th is Yom Kippur. It is the Day of Atonement. So that is 10 days later. And like I said, I put on, I believe, a fairly decent argument as to why I think the 6 seals are open relatively quick. And there are others who will try to place the seals towards the end of tribulation. But how do you account for God assigning those 7 years to the Jews only? And that doorway in heaven, it's not going to sit open for 7 years. Satan's going to get kicked out, and that door is going to be shut. When is he kicked out? He's kicked out at the beginning. He's kicked out and he's down here. Remember, he tries to eat or consume or kill the child that is born. So we'll be looking at all these days starting September 11th, just 10 days from now. I would think, and just me thinking out loud, that by September the 3rd or September the 4th at sunset, I would think that we would see something that would wake us all up, because I want that visitation like Joshua got from Jesus back in 2018, and he's now telling us about it. I would like to have that kind of confirmation. As a matter of fact, Amos 3:7 promises me that I will get just that exact confirmation. And not just me, every single one of us, and quite possibly, the tribulation saint will also, which is why I think we're seeing September 24th and 10 days earlier, trumpets. Trumpets is actually on September 15th. Mathematically, this is exactly, you see that day 183? This is exactly to the day Rosh Hashanah. There's 2 segments of 91, comes up to 182 days. 182 days. This is the last segment of those first 2 91-day periods, totaling 182. And then the next day is the Feast of Trumpets. So, very high watch day, Feast of Trumpets is Tishri 1. And I find it very telling that on July 1st, 7-1, Tishri one being 7-1, September meaning 7, all of that landing on this day. And on this day is the 10th event that we read about in Noah. I went through Noah with a fine tooth comb and I followed each and every event that he did and I counted them out exactly. And on the day, and I believe that Bible just flat says on the 7th month, or it might say for Noah, it might have said the first month and the first day because of they were on before Exodus 12 came out. But at any rate, this is the day that Noah removes the covering. The only way to view Noah from our perspective to understand it properly is to apply Noah to our post Exodus 12 timeline. Otherwise, Noah will not appear in the right spots where it must appear. It must appear that Noah, the flood began on Heshvan 17, the second month and 17th day, but we know that as the 8th month and 17th day. That is the 8th month and 17th day because 150 days later, it's reported that the waters began to recede. They began to assuage, however you say that word. And 150 days later, that is the cross. The cross is Nisan 14, March 30th in 30 AD. Jesus was not crucified in 31 or 32 or 33. He was crucified in 30 AD. But because of this 0 year, we would see it as 31. Just like we see this as 2025, it's actually 2024. We see Jesus on the cross in 31 AD. All of our timelines and stellarium, all that show that it would be in 31 AD, but it's actually 30 AD. Kevin even found the year that stellarium deleted completely out of it to compensate for that 0 year. So, with all that being said, let me go on to the next picture. I can't take this too long because I got to be on with them and I got to upload this. I made a dramatic statement back here a month ago, and I said that 100 billion people have died since 2,000 years ago, since the cross, and that 100 billion people are going to come back to life out of the graves. They will not have eternal bodies. Aside from those who had Christ and Christ alone, they will be resurrected and rise to heaven. But not just the bride is going to rise. 100 billion people are going to rise. I thought I was the only one that found this, but people have been sending me stuff right and left of other people 100 years ago found, and they made the statement, I'm seeing this in the Bible that more than just a bride is going to rise. Why do you think the number, it tells you the number that's going to die? It tells you 1/3 and then 1/4. That's 4 billion people. I know exactly how many people are going to show up in heaven. But it says it's a number that no man can count. Try to count to 100 billion people. That's how many people are going to rise. The antichrist is going to rise with him. Judas Iscariot. A lot of bad people are going to rise. A lot of bad stuff's going to go down. I would think that if the government thought that this was an actual event, that this was actually going to happen, that they might begin setting up stuff all around the planet to prepare for such an event. They might put on fake wars to get the people behind them. Rather than tell everybody, hey, guess what? The rapture's about to happen and 100 billion people are going to come here and eat all your food. Rather than tell them that, let's put up a war, get their people to rally behind us and our cause, and we'll build up everything, build bunkers, we'll build everything up to go to war with this 100 billion people. I almost think that this CV-19 that they gave to everybody was a way to identify you as not being one of these 100 billion people. They have created movie after movie after movie of the dead rising from the graves. Why? Where did that even come from? Mankind doesn't have an original thought in his head any more than Satan does. This came from a warning that God probably gave many people who were in the theaters or the movies. 100 billion people. I said that a month ago, and since then, a lot of people have been sending me stuff. I'm watching this with my grandson, And this just pops up on my screen, and I can't believe it. I make my wife rewind it so I can walk up to the TV and take a picture of it. This is the point where it turns out that at this moment in time, there are 108 billion, 210 million, 121,415 souls that have been created by God to come to earth. Like I said before, since Jesus rose, we have believed without seeing. We are going to heaven because we have believed without seeing. Thomas would not believe until he saw. These people are going to rise up. They're going to see this rapture occur. They will be, to make no mistake, the dead in Christ will rise first. If this group of people rises with them and they win, I'm back. That is annoying. I don't know where to plug this goofy thing in at or what's causing it to lose Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I mean, but make no mistake that this other group of people is going to see this rapture. They're going to fall directly to their knees. This world is going to come after them. These people are going to come out of those graves very hungry and thirsty. Yes, they'll be alive. They'll have bodies like you and mine. They will be able to die, but they have one task to do. And I'm sure the rumors are swirling around Hades right now that there's coming an event where they're all going to rise, and they better do this in a hurry. When Jesus went there, how much time did they have to make this choice? They had 84 hours. They had 3.5 days. Jesus went down there with his witness. They had 3.5 days to make the choice to follow Jesus or not follow Jesus. That was it. And the same thing, they might have 3.5 days before they either re-die or they get killed by what the government is putting together with all of this stuff. It's crazy what they're putting together right now. 17 different states, they got the National Guard. Why? What what changed? What changed that they needed all these National Guard? They are enlisting nonstop people for prisons. Nonstop. They are looking for border patrol. They're looking for ICE. They're looking for prison guards. I'm like, where are they getting all this money? And why is this so become so popular right now? Are a lot of people going to go to jail here pretty soon for something? They will be recognized because they didn't take that mark. I said mark. That's not bad choice of words. It was not the mark. They did not take that identifier that changed that. I don't want to say it. If you're a bride of Christ, it didn't matter if you took that thing, you're going. It was not the mark. Let me clarify that. It was not the mark, but it is an identifier. And if you're a tribulation saint, they're going to want to prick your finger and test to see if you got that thing. If you didn't get that thing and you're a tribulation saint, you're going to be counted amongst these people and they're going to be putting these people down. That's who they're coming after. They're not coming after me and you. They say, oh, they're going to come after us. They have all of these body bags and guillotines and all this stuff. You know how long it would take to guillotine 100 billion people? You got to line them up and just shoot it. They're not guillotining these people. That would take forever. Now, all these body bags, that's what that's for. Satan is going to want these people because these people know the truth. They've been in Hades for the past 2,000 years and rumors getting around. Don't think they can't talk to each other. They're not in the lake of fire. They're in Hades. Don't think that word's not getting around that an event is coming where they're coming out of there. And the earth is shaking right now like we've never seen it shake before. It is getting ready to spit up all these people. When that number passed by on that cartoon called Soul, I was floored. I was absolutely floored. These are all the souls that are waiting to go down to earth. As you know, I Googled this last time and showed it to you. While there are no precise figures, demographers, Estimate that between 100 billion and 117 billion people have died throughout human history. That's human history, with the last 2,000 years accounting for a significant portion of that number. I think that it's 100 billion in the last 2,000 years. I decided to take a picture of all of the zombie movies that we've had. Look at all these Zombie Land, uh, The Undead, 28 Weeks, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. How about Shaun of the Dead? That was funny. I really enjoyed watching Shaun of the Dead. There's so many of them. They just never end talking about that. And I have a feeling that that's why. And in controversy, there shall stand in judgment, and they shall judge it according to my judgments, and they shall keep my laws and my statutes in all mine assemblies, and they shall hallow my Sabbaths. This is coming to a Sabbath near you. This is about to come. Guy come through my line today. His name is Sabbat. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Your last name is Sabbat? He's like, yeah. I said, you know that means Sabbath, right? I said, that's awesome. All right. For many, now this is Tony Early, the Cataclysm. Tony Early said this the other day. It caught my attention. I thought I'd share it with you. I thought it was really cool the way he put this, and so I just wanted to to show it to you. I don't know if Tony has made a video talking about this or not, but it just blew my mind when he said it. This is the type of stuff when people say stuff that it resonates. When it resonates with your spirit, you say, "Wait a minute, this actually makes sense." For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ. And what have we always understood that to read? Well, Tony doesn't read it that way. He says that many people will rise up and say, yeah, Jesus is the Christ, but they shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So I thought it was so cool when he said, yeah, they're going to proclaim Jesus is the Christ, but they're going to add stuff to it. They will add stuff to it. They will come in and they will deceive many. The main deception I find is the deception that they're telling you, you have to do this and you have to do that. But it's a large group of people. It is a great group, a huge group of people that believe that there's more to do than just accept Christ. Oh, it's not what the Bible says. It says if you do, you'll walk in my statutes. If you accept me, you'll stop sinning. That's what the lie is. And that is what's going to cause so many people to be left behind. Close your eyes, fold your arms, fall over backwards, and trust Jesus and Jesus alone. Do not go out and get baptized thinking it's going to do anything for you. Do go out and get baptized because you want to show God that, yes, I hear your message and I believe it. This is my witness to that. I know it does nothing for me. None of this YouTube stuff I do, none of this amazing stuff I've discovered over the last 7 years trying to find the rapture date that has passed and passed and passed and passed. None of this amazing stuff has gained anything towards my salvation. My salvation is signed, sealed, and delivered like everyone else's, and it never, ever can be lost. September the 7th. I wonder if September the 7th is not a 84-hour warning to the rapture to September the 11th, or it is a 7-day warning to the rapture at sunset on September the 14th, 15th, being the actual Feast of Trumpets. You know one thing that doesn't match anything to do with this blood moon and the eclipse? The rapture occurring on September the 24th. Doesn't match anything. It does match on September the 15th on trumpets, though. The Day of Atonement is simply 10 days away. Find that very interesting. Where did I see this? Oh, End Time Dreams and Visions. Bob Barber over at End Time Dreams and Visions put together. This was amazing. It was mind-blowing. Apparently, there's this. What was it called? Hold on. Let me go look to see the name so I don't mess it up. Qumran. Qumran. The Dead Sea Scrolls are found in Qumran, right? Apparently, there's an asteroid out there or a comet out there that takes itself back and forth between Aquarius, or not. This is Aquarius. No, it's not Aquarius. Between Virgo and Leo, it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But something strange happened to Qumran in these years. It stayed still. It goes from one, 7 years later, it goes back to there. It just goes back and forth. But something strange happened. It stayed in one of them. You have to go watch Bob Barber's and he puts together some incredible math. This is awesome what he put together here. 14 years it stayed still. And then it counts on. And that was very interesting because it was 1972 to 1986. And then it does it again from 2018 to 2032, 14 years. Absolutely phenomenal what he had found. I think he said somebody showed it to him. I'm not sure, but look, Qumran, it goes back and forth. And every 7 years, the celestial travel cycle from Leo to Virgo. And guess what? Qumran in 2032 will enter Leo and never leave again. It will not do this ever again. That's it. So for those of you, who think that 2025 is not significant, it is it. This is it. The rapture is going to happen this year. And remember, this Jubilee cycle does run until March 16th of 2026. Don't think it's going to take that long. I think now is the time, but I don't want to, put a nice, pretty little bow on it and say it has to happen because I haven't had that Amos 3:7 visit yet. 12-year cycle. Yeah, it did. He did a whole video. You got to go watch it. What he put together here is absolutely. I had to take pictures of it. So amazing. Mark Allison posted this. Kevin sent it to me as well. Spinebreaker. The world will soon understand. Nothing can stop what is coming. Apparently, this is a post from Trump. He's on the inside now. He knows that something's coming, and they are gearing up militarily around the world. They're using wars as an excuse to gear up militarily around the world um, for this influx that's about to happen. And it's going to be something else. It is going to be something else. Let's see. I think this is in my Discord. I think I'm not sure why I took. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came. And I didn't take put any highlights on it, so I'm not sure where to read. So this is about the valley of dried bones in Ezekiel 37:10. And again, this is another curiosity I have. Since these Jews died, what's the point in raising them up? Will the Jews be the only group of people that will not rise as tribulation saints? I don't see why they would. To me, the Jews will rise and go into the millennium. They have not accepted the Lord. They might look up and weep for the one that they had pierced, true. But, excuse me, everybody that goes into the millennium is, I believe well, not everybody, but I think there's others that'll make it. But the Jews predominantly will go into the tribulation. And all of them will be sinners. They will all be sinners. And ye shall know that I am the Lord when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. And I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I am the Lord. That sounds a lot like the millennium to me. So I would think that the Jews are actually going to rise to go into the millennium. Not so much. Oh, excuse me. I have to get up 6 a.m. to go to work again. 6 days straight I'm working. I am the good shepherd. And no, oh, this came from Strength Ministries. He said this, and I went quickly in and took a picture. And I think was it 24? No, it wasn't 24. He said something that caught my attention. I said, oh, he just said that the bride is going to rise first, and not very far after, the tribulation saints will also rise. But I hope I took the right picture. Let's see. I am the good shepherd, and I know my sheep, and am known of mine, as the Father knoweth me, even so knowing I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have. Has anybody ever noticed it says that? He has his sheep, but he also has other sheep. He's not talking about the Jew. He's talking about the tribulation saint here, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring to heaven. The Jews not going to heaven. They're going into the millennium. Other sheep is the tribulation saint. And again, every time we find the bride and the tribulation saint being spoken of, we find that it happens relatively quickly. It's not far in between when we're talking about the bride going up. For example, when Jesus shows up, he is called the bridegroom. When Jesus shows up, he is getting the 5 virgins with oil. The 5 virgins with oil had to get oil. They had work to do. They are tribulation saints. The 5 without oil are the Jew. Jesus is called the bridegroom because he already has his bride. The bride goes before anyone thinks. It happens, poof, and it's done. Then shortly thereafter, I believe the tribulation saints go. Not very far later, when we see Jacob and Leah and Rachel. Leah didn't say a single word. She should have been like, Dad, Rachel's going to be pissed. He's going to be pissed. You want to put me in that tent with him? What if he figures it out? He's going to beat me up. Guy's going to kill me. Why am I in his bed and not my sister? He worked 7 years for her. Nothing, not a peep. All we know is that he wakes up in the morning and sees her laying there and goes, what in the, and runs out to yell at Laban. No, hold on a second. And not where I am. The younger cannot go before the elder. The elder must go first. Guess what you're called? You're called an elder. The elder must go first, and then the younger. Give her 7 days, but then you can marry her after 7 days, but then give me my 7 years. We know that. We know that because Rachel was barren. We would not know that Rachel was barren unless they were intimate. They would not be intimate until they were married. He did not marry Rachel 7 years later. He married Rachel 7 days later, but being the man that he was, he fulfilled his promise and continued to work for another 7 years. All right. Hopefully I put all that to bed. But again, when he read this, I realized he had said something very, very important. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. They're not the elders. Them also I must bring. He is there to pick up the 5 with oil. He's there to get the 5 with oil. He is called the bridegroom because he already has the bride, and he's there to pick up the tribulation saint. And it's going to happen relatively quick, very quick. It's going to happen. All right. I think I am finished. Boy, am I glad I shared that time. Can you imagine me doing all that without sharing? I've actually done that. So, does anybody know why this thing just keeps turning itself off? I don't understand. Why does it just keep turning itself off? It's not like it's losing contact. I mean, the little USB thing is right in front of me. It's right in front of me, plugged into the laptop. It's not like I'm too far away and I lost signal. Not to mention, it's not losing signal. It's just shutting itself off. So anyway, keep watching. Again, I think, I'll be on in 30 minutes on Departure Heaven. Go watch that. It's probably take me about 15, 20 minutes to upload this. And I'll be on there live on Departure Heaven here in a moment. We will, remember, go to a quiet place by yourself. Nobody needs to know, and you don't need to tell anybody, and accept the Lord into your heart. We have run out of time. Listen, if the rapture occurs and you didn't think this was going to happen, and suddenly there's 100, wherever you are, count the people right near you. Like there's about 8 people near me. Multiply that by 10. There's going to be 80 people right near me if I were left behind. That's how many people are going to be here. The resources are going to disappear quickly. That's why they're building bunkers. That's why they're saving up all this stuff. That's why they're putting military all over these states. You're like, what's that for? Oh, it's because of this. It's because of that. They're rioting. Man, they've been rioting all along. What are you talking about? They shot somebody. Come on. There's 17,000 ships down by what is that? Not Panama. It's by Panama. It's Venezuela. Wait, come on. They got to have a choke point to stop everybody from coming up. Guess what the choke point is? Oh, it's right there by Venezuela. They can shut that down. You know what they do? They blow out that land part right there. I don't know how thick it is, but you blow out that land part so nobody can cross. You just stopped a whole bunch of people from coming up, going north to America. I'm just saying that I think is why all this stuff is going the way it is. They're not afraid of us. They're not afraid of 8 billion people. They're scared to death of 108 billion people. they're they're scared to death of it. I wonder if what number did I read? Let me see something. Hold on, I'll look at my phone real quick. I didn't even think about that. 210 billion. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking 210 billion. It says 108. I'm sorry, 108 billion, 210 million. I wonder if it's 210 million that'll be raptured out of here, leaving them with an exact number of 108 billion. I don't know. There's an exact number. There is an exact number. So, all right, YouTube, Repo Man 64, like, comment, share, subscribe if you'd like. Yeah, this is for the Tribulation Saints. Back. Uh, this is for the Tribulation Saints anyway. Bride, there's nothing you can do to lose it. Nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do wrong right now. There's nothing you can do wrong. So this day is coming. It's literally right here. We're at it. So I suspect a huge event to take place here very shortly. I always have. Before every high watch day I gave, I said I'm looking at 84 hours before the event. Before the date that some event will take off. So just keep watching. All right. We will chat with you. We'll be on again live on Departure Heaven here tonight. We'll see you then.